Hey, Benita. You got me?
Hey. Oh, yeah. How you going?
How you doing, Benita?
Not too bad. How are you?
Pretty good. Not too bad.
So
Whereabouts are you?
you so I live in Palm Beach on the Gold
Oh,
Coast.
yeah. I'm in
Yeah.
Burleigh.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you used to live in Victoria though, hey?
Yeah, down in Torquay. It's about an hour from Melbourne.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Torquay's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then
Um,
moved up here about six weeks ago. So no, I'm loving it.
yeah, right. Oh, so you haven't been here very long.
No, I just moved up, which is it's been great. How long have
Yeah.
you been here for?
Yeah. Well, I've been living in Queensland for like 5 or 6 years, but only
Yeah.
down in the Gold Coast like 2 years or so.
Yep. Yep.
So I've got a place in Brisbane, and I still work a fair bit in Brisbane, so I'm in Brisbane a fair bit. But the Gold Coast is pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
probably heaps better. It's heaps better than Brisbane.
Is it?
But yeah, but Brisbane. Oh, like, I don't mind. I don't mind being in Brisbane a bit. So have you ever lived in Queensland before?
No, never. No, first time up here. So
Ah.
loving it. Yeah.
Oh, I reckon heaps of Victorians actually are moving here.
There's
So
heaps, yeah. I've got about 5 mates wanting to come up in March, so whether they can find a house,
yeah.
the market's crazy for the houses at the moment. But
Oh, yeah, especially down here. Like you can't, because in Palm Beach you can't find rentals at all.
yeah,
And Burleigh's probably the same.
yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Oh,
thanks
yeah,
for
cool.
your time.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
online running summit just to give some value to runners throughout Australia and hopefully throughout the world. So to start things off, do you want to just give a bit of an intro about yourself and kind of your pathway into running? Just a bit of background about your running kind of.
yeah. So I probably started running when I was like maybe in year 1 or 2, like probably about 7 years old, and I just used to run on the beach with my dad. I grew up in North Queensland in Mackay, and we lived like 100 meters from the beach. So I always just ran in bare feet, probably a few times a week with my dad at the beach at low tide. So like the sand's pretty hard, and I hated wearing shoes, and so we never used to wear shoes to school. I didn't have to wear shoes until I was like year 8 or year 9. So when I first started racing, I just raced in bare feet, and even on the red synthetic tracks, I used to take my big toe and race in bare feet. And I enjoyed running, but I was really probably more into team sports when I was young. And I think the running just helped me like stay fit for all the team sports. And I was in a lot of Australian hockey teams as a junior, and I was named in the Australian like talent squad for Sydney Olympics. But at that stage, I accepted a scholarship to go to the AIS in Canberra for running. So I started probably training a lot more when I was 17, 18. And before that with running, I only trained like 3 or 4 days a week, and didn't train that hard for running throughout high school. But once I started training a bit more, I went to the AIS in Canberra, made my first Olympic team when I was 20 at Sydney Olympics in the year 2000. Seems like a long time ago, but yeah, so that was my first team. And then ever since the year 2000, I ended up going to 4 Olympics in 2000. I was in the 5K. 2004, I was in the 10K. 2008 and 2012, I was in the marathon. So went to 4 Olympics. I went to a lot of world cross countries, and world cross country and cross country running in general was probably what I was best at. I think I love cross country because it's not about like the pace. It's about the competition, and too many people these days, they're so focused on pace and how sort of fast they're running, but not as much about the competition and actually trying to win races or get your best results. So I think I love that. And also every course is different. So so I love that about cross country. And I went to quite a few world indoor championships, world outdoor championships, world half marathon, and a lot of events like that. Represented Australia 25 times at a world championship level. And my best achievement was winning the World Cross Country in 2004, which is something that no Australian's done. I was part of 2 bronze medal team World Cross Country medalists as well. That was in 2008 and 2006. I won a bronze medal in the World Half Marathon Champs as well in 2003 in Portugal. So I've got 4 medals at a world championship level, still have 11 Australian records. And my best couple of records at the moment are the 10K and the marathon. I've got quite a lot of other random records. So yeah, probably enjoyed my career a lot. I loved cross country, but also probably loved road races more so than the track. Yeah.
Awesome. So you got a big, diverse range of kind of experience up your sleeve, which is great. So from your experience, like what are the most important things that you think that runners should focus on in order to grow as a runner?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think the biggest thing is patience. And I always think, looking back at my career, and I coach a lot of people now. I have a business called Lace Up Running, where it's mainly online coaching, and it's about having patience with your running. And I always liken it to building up, say, a phone book or a big book. And the more days of training you've got behind you, the bigger the book is. And it's having patience to start at the level that you're at. A lot of people kind of look at a result and they want to get a certain result, but you've got to look at where you're at and progressively build up to get that result. And that can be done through having a coach, but also just through thinking realistically about where you can get to. And the beauty of running is, you get what you put into it, you get out of it, which is why I love the sport so much. But I think patience is one that, yeah, you might have to train for quite a few years to break 4 hours for the marathon, or to break 3 hours for the marathon. But when you actually achieve a goal like that, it's brilliant, and it's something that you'll treasure forever. And it's not one of those sports where you do get better with age, but then there's a certain point where you're not getting better. But as the distances go longer, you're going to get better with age. So even if you're 40s, 50s, 60s, you could be running your best. So I think it's patience for me, and kind of knowing where you're at, and then building on those books, on those pages, to get a big book of training and base behind you.
Awesome. Did you ever have that that sense of being impatient? Did you want to go like push too hard and too fast? Like, did you experience that yourself?
Yeah, definitely, especially when I was in my 20s. Because you see runners, you train with runners that are better than you. You see runners achieving these amazing results, and you kind of want to be there where they are. And you can make mistakes of overtraining, or expecting too much of yourself, putting too much pressure on yourself. And I think when I was in my 30s, I was probably a bit more understanding of what I needed to do. But in my early 20s, I think, yeah, you get injured and you just want to run straight away, and you've got to take a step back, get better first, and then start training again. But I was pretty good with it, because I trusted what I was doing in my program. But I certainly had stages in my career, yeah, where I just wanted to get that result, but it would have it was going to take years to actually get the result I wanted straight away.
Yeah, so yeah, it goes back to that patience. That's really cool. Actually, I had a question. Have you had a favorite running workout, and why?
Yeah, I think I always think back to some of the marathon preparations I did, and I remember doing a marathon prep that was on the track leading into my Chicago marathon, when I ran 2:22. This is in 2006, and I remember doing a session of 6 times 2K, and then a 1K a bit faster. So the 2K reps were more like kind of marathon pace, and there was only like 30 seconds rest between the 2K reps, and then the 1K was almost as hard as I could go. And I remember doing it in close to 3 minutes. And so I think I remember doing that session because it was kind of practicing running at marathon pace. Some of those 2K reps were a little bit faster, but it was the overall sort of specific training for the marathon, which I loved. But yeah, it was a lot of laps of the track. So it's kind of a bit mind-boggling when you first start a session like that. But yeah, when I finished it, it was pretty amazing. And I knew I was gonna run really well in Chicago. It's just a matter of getting it done on the day. But a session like that, I really enjoyed. But that's a very high volume session. But yeah, but I also loved K reps. So K reps were pretty much a staple of all the training I did. And so usually 7 to 8 times a K with 90 seconds or 60 seconds rest. And sometimes, they're at 10K, they could be 10K pace for odd reps and closer to 5K pace for even reps. So I've done sessions like that before, where you're alternating between, say, 3:20 for the odd reps, and then closer to 3 minutes or a bit faster for the even reps. So, and you can do them on trails or the track. So I think K reps, all those sort of specific marathon type sessions, were my favorite ones to do.
Beautiful. No, that's awesome. And you mentioned before that you're still involved in running. You've got the Lace Up Running. Did you want to tell the viewers a bit about that, like if they wanted to join in on what you've got to offer or anything like that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we have Lace Up Running, and I've started that with my partner Anthony. And Anthony loves trail running, and he kind of looks after a lot of our ultra and trail running athletes, and I look after a lot of the marathon runners, or people that run a bit shorter distances. So we're mainly an online training group, but we do have a group here on the Gold Coast as well. If you want to get in touch with us, just send us an email, info@laceuprunning.com.au. And I love working with marathon runners. I've got a lot of people that are trying to break 3 hours for the first time, hopefully this year, in marathons later in the year. But marathon runners of all levels. But certainly, yeah, running's one of those things that I really think you need a coach to get that ultimate performance. And we do individualized online training. So we're kind of setting training a week ahead, suiting, you know, your needs and your goals, but also like your work, your family life, and that kind of thing, because I don't think one program fits everyone. So and we also look at age, male or female, running history, all that kind of stuff. So it's really tailored to you and your goals. And you know, we're at a lot of races throughout the year, so we'll be there when you get to your big race. And it's just fantastic seeing people do something they've never done before. So yeah, send us a message if you're keen.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for that, and thanks for all the value that you've given today. I'm sure everyone will get some value out of that and kind of contribute to them growing as a runner, which is really nice. Just to kind of finalize things up, is there anything else, any tips or anything that you want to give the viewers to keep on growing, or just mainly that patience and consistency?
I think a big thing is when you get into a race, just make sure you have a plan, and you know where you're at pacing wise, because a lot of people, you know, we look at in marathons, they might be going a lot too fast at the start, or they're, you know, not sure about a plan, and they sort of just hope it all works out. So I think having a plan is really important, but how you structure your training too. So, you know, distance runners, especially really high achievers, and we're all high achievers, and it's a good characteristic to have, but sometimes you need someone to just hold you back a little bit. Like a lot of people out there train a little bit too hard, and you want to be at a race slightly undertrained, but not slightly overtrained. So often it's a coach that kind of holds you back and says, look, I think you need a rest day. And we don't often think about our recovery quite so much. So I think for me, to be pacing in races, knowing where you're at and having a plan, but also holding back a little bit and focusing a bit more on the recovery. I think we can all push ourselves hard, but it's some of those other things that I think we really need to think about in our preparation for any race we're doing, and at any level as well.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for that. I really appreciate it. I'm sure all the viewers will as well. So thanks for your time, Benita.
Cool. Thanks, Jack. Yeah, great to chat to you as well.
No worries.
Cool.
Talk to you
Thanks.
soon.
Yeah, thanks. See ya.
Bye.